We often hear those conversations where one generation sees itself as being very different than another generation. And you may be surprised, though, how close they can be on certain issues. But as a new poll of national security shows us, there are some differences. Politicians, political pundits, and folks just sitting around the kitchen table often talk about this very split screen, Russia and China. So which country do you see as the biggest threat to U.S. national security? According to two High Point University surveys, Gen Z, people 18 to 29 years old, are pretty much even with most adults when it comes to their view of Russia as a threat. But then the difference starts to show. Far more adults overall see China as a bigger threat than Russia than Gen Z does. So where are some of the Gen Z worries going? North Korea. Pollster Martin Keifer says Gen Z also has a very different view of whether Russia is an actual adversary.
Only about 28% of them said they saw Russia as an adversary, but 44%, of the general public said the same thing. And so to us, that was a remarkable, finding. So younger people are just thinking differently about the world out there.
Older adults have memories of the Cold War and the threat of nuclear annihilation. While not part of the poll's questioning, that generation gap may have an influence on perceptions.
Gen Z doesn't have that set of memories. They have things that they may have learned at school or picked up in other ways. And so it makes sense that the way that older people kind of construct Russia as a threat is different, than Gen Z would.
At 57 versus 65%, most adults have a more pessimistic view of how world events may impact the safety of the U.S. But they are very close to their impression of President Biden's handling of the Ukraine-Russia war.
A big takeaway here is that it's not the case that Gen Z or any particular generation is very different than the rest of us. We find remarkable consistencies, but then we also can find these issues and these areas, these attitudes, where as a group, Gen Z appears to be distinct, from the rest of us.
And HBU surveyed people nationwide in this case. The results were in line, though, to similar polls that focus only on North Carolina residents. Liz?
All right, Russ, thanks.